Hey, Ashley.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to ZScrow 101. We'll give everybody a few minutes to log in and join. Also, a note that we always use is if you are using Google Chrome, you should have the best connection. If you are not, we do suggest that you use Google Chrome for LiveStorm. We've seen some success with that in the past. Looks like we've got some more people joining right now. My name is Shelby Hoffpower. I'm the Growth Marketing Manager here at ZSuite. We've got Ashley Murphy here, National Account Executive with ZSuite, and she will be taking us through the ZScrow 101 webinar. The webinar will be an overview of ZSuite as a company, and then we'll dive into an actual demo of our ZScrow product. Should you have any questions arise, I'll be monitoring the chat, and then we can pause for those in the middle of or during the webinar. But we'll also have enough time at the end to go through all of your questions. So feel free to just throw them in there and we'll make sure that they get answered.
Great. Thank you, Shelby. Should we go ahead and get started?
I don't see why not. I think if you're ready.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, thank you everyone so much for joining our webinar today. Again, my name is Ashley Murphy. I am a National Account Executive here at ZSuite Tech. So my job is to work with our prospective clients to really understand their goals and determine if there's harmony and how we can drive efficiency or help grow deposits for the specific verticals that those prospect banks are looking to go after or are currently supporting. So, taking you through this introduction today to who we are as a company, to how we grow deposits, and to our ZScrow platform is really a privilege for me. I'm happy to be here to share that with you today. I wanted to kick off the webinar, and this is just a short 30-minute webinar like Shelby mentioned, but if there is more interest or you'd like to learn more after today, Shelby will provide the Contact Us link in the chat where you can submit if you'd like to have a more robust demo or a personal meeting. We'd be glad to set that up. But I wanted to kick us off by sharing with you today that our mission as a company is to make commercial banking easier for both you as the financial institution and for your commercial clients. The first part of that mission, making commercial banking easier, we're doing that through a digital escrow and sub-accounting system that has multiple points of access. So the bankers have access to user-friendly screens where you can open sub-accounts virtually on behalf of your commercial clients in a very easy way. So if you have any of those clients that require a little extra hand-holding or want you to open an account for them, you can absolutely do that. But also the commercial client has self-serve access. So at any time of day, they can access the ZScrow platform through credentialing in or through single sign-on. We have both options. And once they log into ZScrow, they can open their own sub-accounts. They can view interest that's been posted, pull reports, view statements, close sub-accounts, all things that typically, traditionally, without a platform like this, would have required a whole lot more manual effort, a lot more phone calls, and even trips into the bank. And so, in that kind of niche environment of escrow and sub-accounting, we are really making commercial banking easier. And the Thrive Together piece, of course, internally as a company, our culture is extremely important for our employees here at ZSuite, but also for our relationships with our bank partners. Building those relationships is really something that we pride ourselves in here at ZSuite Tech. We consider ourselves to be an extension of your team. So we're providing that white glove service when it comes to training your staff, providing FAQs and best practices from all of the bank partners that we work with. Also, the world of escrow and sub-accounting can be a little bit complex, and that's all we think about all day long. So we're here to help you strategize and drive that efficiency, make sure we're maximizing the potential of the platform for your existing clients, but also if you're looking to grow new commercial deposits with the same types of verticals you're currently supporting, or maybe you want to tap into new commercial verticals, we're here to help you in that sales process. We can help you strategize. We'll even go so far as providing ride-along demos where we'll sit side by side and actually present the ZScrow platform for your prospects or for your clients, or even just be there as a subject matter expert to help answer questions. So many of our bank partners are leveraging us for that today. If you are a current bank partner and you're on today and you're not leveraging us for that, please inquire with your client success manager, because we're happy to help, in terms of strategizing and growth and really supporting you in any way that we can so that you can thrive. So this level of support and having a product that can really help with commercial deposit growth has led to rapid growth for our company. We're only 6 years old as a company, and the ZScrow platform is really only 4 years old, yet we've grown to 128 bank partners nationwide, headquartered in 31 states. And so that rapid growth, again, is really attributed to, I think, that the way that we're helping to answer the question of how can we grow more commercial clients and more commercial deposits without always just competing to be offering the best rate, right? This gives you a whole new platform, a product-first approach that you can take to really use as a launching pad to walk into new businesses, and win those deposits. And so we do that again through a digital escrow and sub-accounting solution to support your commercial clients in their three-party accounts. And so just to be clear, when I use the word escrow, I am not talking about mortgage escrow. So if that's what popped in your mind, let's let that go. And let's focus on these three-party accounts where the financial institution is involved with a commercial client who's holding funds on behalf of a beneficiary. And so those different types of scenarios could be all kinds of verticals, from property managers with their tenant security deposit accounts, or attorneys with custodial trust accounts or FBO accounts. Funeral homes oftentimes take prepayment for funerals and hold those funds on the side for a period of time. Municipalities is another great example. So without a digital escrow and sub-accounting solution, a municipality tends to hold a very big budget. And traditionally, all of those funds would just be commingled in one big master account at the bank, and the municipality would have to keep track of all of their different line items with a spreadsheet manually back at their office. But with the ZEscrow platform, the municipality can actually log in, create sub-accounts for each of those different line items, and actually physically segregate all of those funds. So whether they have FEMA funds or Parks and Recreation funds, funds for the fire department or the police, right? They can actually keep those things separated. They can have statements, they can pull reports, really have great visibility and control over that segregation in the platform. So municipalities is a great use case of a vertical that really loves the efficiency that this platform provides. But looking at many different types of commercial verticals across the US market, when it comes to escrow and sub-accounts, these types of three-party accounts, we estimate that there's over $3 trillion in deposits in these types of accounts across the country. So there's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can target new commercial deposits. From property managers with their tenant security deposit accounts, we estimate that there's $101 billion in deposits in those types of accounts across the country. And having a tool like this gives those property managers and landlords the ability to segregate each of those tenant security accounts without having to open a core account for every single one. And then they can nicely pull reports, view statements, view interest that's been posted if they pay interest. But it's just really been a great way to give them control and visibility to segregate those types of accounts digitally. From the world of 1031 exchanges, we have found that qualified intermediaries have been the fastest growing vertical on the ZScrow platform in the last 12 months. And that's really because these are big, chunky deposit real estate transactions that are great clients for a bank. These qualified intermediaries tend to be managing kind of these cyclical transactions. So one 1031 exchange typically lasts about 180 days, but is oftentimes more than $1 million, for that one exchange. But after the 180 days is up, then that qualified intermediary is typically replacing it with another exchange and another. So these tend to be really great customers and great deposits to go after, with over $100 billion in deposits available in the US market. Law firms is another strong use case on the ZScrow platform. So I mentioned custodial trust accounts, FBO accounts, but also IOLTAs or IOLA accounts, right? Those would be interest on lawyers' trust accounts, right? So any type of client settlement funds, real estate deposits, court fees, right, that sit off to the side for a period of time. Our system gives really nice segregation to the attorney to really organize all of those different accounts for their clients and have that access, the visibility, and the control. Some of the other verticals you see on my screen are also great opportunities of the types of clients that could benefit from using ZEscrow: funeral homes, nursing homes, real estate offices, even nonprofits. Aviation escrow is one that's come up recently. So as you're kind of putting on your thinking cap and thinking about the potential of what types of clients are we working with that deal with three-party accounts, really any of those can benefit from the ZEscrow platform. And looking at some data and some metrics when it comes to these types of verticals on our platform, we're seeing from an average balance standpoint that one property manager carries around $69,000 as an average balance on the ZEscrow platform. A law firm, $332,000, and ticking up even more from there for an IOLTA, $345,000. And if you take a look at the cost of funds for these types of accounts, they're relatively low. So really there's quite a bit of opportunity when you think about targeting new relationships at low cost of funds that have great potential for big chunky deposits for your organization. So again, with that, we work with you as a partner to help you drive that efficiency internally, to really take any of those manual processes that you were doing before to manage these types of accounts and digitize them. We work with you also to help drive that efficiency for your clients, whether that be just setting up your existing clients on the ZEscrow platform. We can help do some bulk uploads for that. Or training your staff to help win new business and new deposits in that way. We're here to help along the way. So I'm going to pause for just a moment here as I transition out of my slides and into the ZEscrow demo so I can actually show you the platform and you can see how easy it is to use ZEscrow and the user experience. So bear with me for just a moment as I pause, but this would also be a great place if you have any questions about the components I've covered so far before we take a look at the demo. All right, Shelby, confirming you can see my screen that says State Bank at the top.
Good to go, Ashley. And we did get a question regarding IOLTA accounts. Does ZEscrow handle the reporting to State Bar as well?
We do. We actually will remit the interest from those IOLTA accounts to the State Bar Association on your behalf. Great question. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so you broke up there for just a moment, Shelby. Confirming you can see my screen?
I can, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Perfect. So this is the demo environment of our ZEscrow platform. ZEscrow is a web-based application, and it is responsive and adaptive, whether you're using your smartphone, your tablet, or your desktop. The screen will be best optimized for you. ZEscrow is a white label product. So I refer to it as ZEscrow, but you don't have to. You could call it whatever you like, use whatever branding you would like. Also, what you're seeing on my screen today are all fictitious clients and a made-up bank, right? Your state bank is not a real bank. This is just for the sake of the demo. Of course, if this were your environment of ZEscrow, it would have your bank's name, your logo, your colors, so it would look and feel more like you. We do host the ZEscrow platform through AWS. Each bank partner has their own unique instance of AWS, and there are 3 levels of access to the ZEscrow platform. So the first level of access is the bank's level of access, and that's what you're seeing right now. We do have single sign-on opportunities for the bank internally. So if you're using Okta or Azure, we can set you up that way so you can easily access and log in to the ZEscrow platform as a banker. And when you log in, you'll see that all of these tiles that are displayed here will be reflective of the different clients that you have that are using the platform. So you could scroll and scroll to find the client you're looking for, or you could use this dynamic search tool here to find the right client. So I'm looking for Rosewood Properties. We're going to click on their tile here to learn more about them, find out more information. information. And so as I click on that tile for Rosewood Properties, I want to call out the second level of access. That would be the commercial client's level of access. So whether they credentialed in or used single sign-on through online banking to access ZEscrow, what they would see when they log in would be just one tile that's available there for their business. They wouldn't see any of your other commercial clients' information, of course. Or if they had multiple LLCs and they'd like to have a different tile for each of those LLCs, then we can set it up that way as well. But in this example, Rosewood Properties is logging in and they would see this landing page. They'd see this foldering system that exists where they can actually create custom folders to organize their sub-accounts in whatever way they see fit. There's lots of characters available here, so they can name their folders whatever they like. You can see in this example, Rosewood Properties, a property management company, has created a folder for their different locations. So they have 123 Main Street and Abernathy Street as well. And then they have different sub-accounts that they've put into these folders here. If it's a smaller business, maybe they don't have enough sub-accounts or they feel like they need folders yet, those would just fall down here at the bottom. And then later on, if they wanted to move John Goodwin into one of their folders, they could do that. So thinking across even any type of commercial vertical, this navigational experience is the same. So your client could create folders to organize their sub-accounts in whatever way they see fit. Also, to be clear, when I've mentioned the two levels of access at this point, the commercial client experience, what you're seeing here, is also what the bank sees. It's the same screens. So if you are logging in to help your client, you're looking at the same information that they are, which makes it really easy to answer their questions and to help them along the way. Over here at the top right, we have a total balance. This is reflective of all of the funds that are in all of the sub-accounts in these folders or on this side over here. So Rosewood Properties has a total balance across all of their sub-accounts of $522,403. The transaction section here shows an aggregate of all the transactions that have been coming and going from all of their sub-accounts. And then the document section here, we actually provide a statement on the first of every month that provides a summary of all the sub-accounts up front, and then a snapshot of each individual sub-account thereafter. So it gives them that great information right here on their landing page. But if they were going to click in to dig a little deeper, learn a little bit more, let's take a look at what that looks like on the sub-account level. So we're looking at an example right now of Matt Mitchell's tenant security deposit account. He carries a total balance of $10,816, which is kind of high for tenant security, but this is a demo environment here. We use this one a lot as we're showing how the system works. But it'll show the accrued interest, the posted interest, and then down here, we've got the details of the beneficiary. So the system will create a unique account number for each sub-account on the platform. This is important because each of these sub-accounts are recognized as individual accounts, and each are insured by FDIC standards up to $250,000 as long as there is a beneficiary tied to the account. There's a nickname field available here that you can assign to the sub-account, giving them a nickname. And then, of course, all the beneficiary details will live here as well. There's even the APR. So if your client chooses to pay interest on this type of account, that would exist here. And there's an open notes field that they can leave, kind of like a CRM. If they want to come back and see that note, that could live here in the tool. They can easily edit the beneficiary details as well. If they need to change an address or email address, something like that, it's very easy to do that. And then over here on the bottom or on the right side, we have all of the transactions specific to Matt Mitchell's sub-account that are reflected. With these types of three-party accounts, though, oftentimes it's typically just the funding, the initial funding, the interest that's posted, and then, the disbursement of the account, right? There's not typically a whole lot of transactions happening, but there might be a lease renewal where the landlord has collected a couple $100 extra or something like that to add to the tenant security deposit account, and that might be reflected here. Looking down at this account document repository section, this is available for the client to upload any documents that they would like. In the example of property, oftentimes the landlord will upload the rental lease agreement. So that's tied right here with the sub-account. But also, this is where the W-9 will live. We actually are integrated with DocuSign. So your clients can email through DocuSign a request to the beneficiary to fill out their W-9, and then that will automatically be housed right here tied with the sub-account. And so that's so convenient and can cut out a lot of effort that typically goes into collecting those manually. When we're thinking in terms of other verticals that would be using the platform, a qualified intermediary almost always uploads the exchange agreements, right, in the account document section. So they can upload whatever documents they like that they would like to attach to each individual sub-account. I also wanted to point out here that this invite beneficiary button, that's the third level of access. So that is optional, where your client can choose if they'd like to invite their beneficiary to log into ZEscrow and have view-only access of their information. So they could view their balance, their accrued and posted interest, their statement, their W-9, but they can't take any action within the platform. So just thinking about the level of visibility this is giving to both the client, so the property manager in this example, and the beneficiary, imagine the hours of time that go into picking up the phone and responding to what's my balance, how much interest have I earned. Just having this self-serve access and this digital tool to be able to provide this transparency can really cut out a lot of that manual lift that tends to go into these types of accounts. Transitioning over real quick, I'm going to click on the home button here, get out of Rosewood Properties, and I want to hop over to a different vertical type. So you can see that the navigational experience in ZScrow is the same across verticals. Really, the key difference is the way that each of your client types will use this will be just a little bit different, right? So for qualified an intermediary for a 1031 exchange, they're likely going to create folders for exchanges over million, exchanges under $1 million, or maybe it's a title company that has multiple qualified intermediaries staffed at the same place. Maybe they'll have a folder for each of those QIs. So I'm a QI, maybe Jill's a QI, Michael's a QI. We have our own folders to organize all the exchanges that we're working with. If I wanted to organize, if I'm a QI and I want to organize my 1031s into exchanges over $1 million and exchanges under, I can even create child folders to do that. So you can create folders within folders if we need to. And we are seeing clients with thousands of sub accounts using this platform because it can really help with that organization level. But we're also seeing clients with 4 or 5. So there really is no good size. Really, any type of commercial client dealing with three-party accounts can benefit from using the platform. But taking a look here in more detail at a 1031 example, we can click on, let's see, Jill's client here, Viola Mills at 732 Washington Boulevard. So same thing here, we see their total balance. Remember, these 1031s are big chunky deposits. The accrued and posted interest, the transactions here, all of the beneficiary details, but also there's this edit interest split button that's available here for the 1031 example. And that is because ZEscrow, you can actually think of it as a rules-based engine. So when it comes to these types of three-party accounts, there are going to be all kinds of different ways that you and your clients want to pay and keep and share interest. And so our system will take whatever rules you give us and allocate the appropriate amount of interest to the right client, or all the way down to the right sub account. So if you want to set a rule that says we pay all property managers 15 basis points, we can set that rule in the system. Or if we need to get more specific for each individual sub account and negotiate a different rate for each exchange or each trust account, we can do that. We can allocate a different rate for each of those sub accounts. But we can even give control to the qualified intermediary to push this button and decide if you have negotiated a 3% rate with them, that 3% rate will hold true. But they can say, well, I want to keep 1.5%, and I'm going to give my beneficiary 1.5%. And they have the ability to edit that split on their own within the platform, which they absolutely love. So stepping out of this example, again, I want to head back to property management and just show you how quick and easy it is to open a sub account. So whether it's you as a banker or your commercial client, when you're logged in, you have this opportunity to create a new sub account here. You can easily name it whatever you like. So I'm just going to say my own name here for ease of use at number 1, 2, 3. So this is my security account here. I'm an individual citizenship determines if we need a W-8 or a W-9, and then we can decide which folder we'd like to drop it in, if any. I'll just say the main folder for now. And then here's the opportunity to collect that W-9 via DocuSign. So we can email that to the beneficiary to capture that information right away. Or maybe I already have the paper in hand. And so as the property manager, I can scan and upload that W-9 manually if I need to. So we'll go ahead and click finish later for the sake of the demo, but really this sub account is open. All we need to do is make sure that that W-9 is uploaded and complete before we can fund the sub account. So quick and easy, just took a few seconds to be able to open that sub account on the platform, rather than the traditional way of having to come into the bank and open a new core account for every single sub account. That can be pretty cumbersome. It was very easy to just open one in a few seconds. But also, maybe you win the business of a client that has 1,000 sub accounts at once that they'd like to open the platform. Our client success team will be here to help. We can bulk upload that data and open all of those in just an instance so that nobody has to log in and press the new sub account button 1,000 times. I did want to show you the reports as well. So we have a whole host of different reports that are available for your clients and for you at the bank. The first three are available here to the client. So sub-account activity report, sub-account balance report, and a transaction report. Sub-account activity report, let's go ahead and select the client we'd like to look at. You can select any date range going back 10 years if you'd like. And we're going to go back to the beginning of the year here and run this report. And you'll find that this report gives some great data for your clients to take a look at. So the account number, the sub-account name, address, open and close date, average balance, the accrued interest on the sub-account level and on the organization level. So that can be very interesting for the clients to look at. And they can export all of these data points to a CSV file so they can take it out of the system and manipulate it if they like, even out of ZEscrow. Some of the reports that are available for you, we have an audit report to show who's doing what in the platform, an OFAC report, because we do run OFAC on the beneficiaries on your behalf. Because we have their information, we might as well have that added layer of security. But of course, we'll notify you if there's ever a red flag as well. But there's a report you can pull. But there's all kinds of data that's available at your fingertips, available at your client's fingertips for them to be able to access, even export and use how they see fit. So really coming up on time here, I just wanted to recap that, in a complex world of escrow and sub-accounting, so many banks do not get into this space because they think that this type of work is so manual for the bank and cumbersome for the commercial client. So they kind of just throw their hands up and say, we're not going to deal with those types of specialty deposits. But once you have a product like this that can streamline these processes and digitize all of the things that go into managing these types of accounts, it makes it easy. It makes it easy for you, easy for the client, and gives you kind of a product first approach to win new business. So winning new commercial client relationships and commercial deposits that maybe you never really had access to before becomes, absolutely available to you. And again, we're here to help, strategize and how to win that business and be right there alongside you to help you really succeed and use the platform to its full potential. And so I hope you found this webinar and this demo valuable today as we took a look at the demo. And I'm sorry, I'm going to remove my screen here, but that you can see that there is so much potential for driving deposits, driving new relationships in the world of escrow and sub-accounting. So I'll pause here for just a moment to see what questions do you have at this time that we can help with. You can go ahead and enter them in the chat if there's anything at all. Otherwise, if you are interested in learning more and digging deeper, please let us know. There's a contact us link in the chat that you can click and sign up for a more personalized demo, or we're also happy to reach out directly. All right. Well, if there are no questions, I think that completes the webinar today. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.